Ex-Cerberus scientists, Arrae, or whatever the name of this planet is. I'm just going to call it Hoth.
Hoth. Awesome. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Hoth. Defending it from the AT-ATs. That's what they're called.
Are there...
That's what they were originally called, actually.
Snow monsters?
Tauntauns? Or, that was in trivia. What the hell is that guy's name? Shit. The big guy that, like, mauls Luke.
Yeah.
That
Luke chops his arm
Now,
off.
this could be a completely bullshit story, because I have never seen a single thing about this online, but my dad told me this.
Okay.
About Star Wars, that apparently between Star Wars... It's such a natural reflex to call them 1 and 2, but I know I should call them 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Like, I always have this decision, what the fuck do I call it in my head?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Between Star Wars 1 and 2, Mark Hamill got in a pretty serious motorcycle accident and really scarred up his face. And they added that scene in there.
Oh, to give him a scar?
To give him a scar. And that, like, in the first, like, you know, he was covered up a lot in the first part of the movie when he's outside and he's, you know, he's got, like, the full wrap on his face and everything like that. And that could be a completely bullshit story, but I like it regardless.
Does your dad know as much about Star Wars as he knows about computers?
No, he knows a lot more about Star Wars.
Okay.
My dad's actually really good with, like, movie trivia and knowing actors and stuff like that.
Okay.
For who, like, you know, who is in what movie. As long as it's not a modern movie, he knows the
As
old
long as
stuff.
it didn't come out in the last 20 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
The 90s, 2000s.
Yeah. No, the 90s, he knows a lot of the stuff. He knows all the big stuff. Not, like, the weird indie comedies and shit like that that I quote all the time. Yeah, exactly. So, one of the comments on the last videos was from Boss Cowbell, and I liked the comment because we had touched on this briefly before. He said, "I marathon everything in the same way as John. I probably put 120 hours. Fuck, that is a lot of time. Into Mass Effect 3 last month. Now, I forced myself to participate in the weekend challenges. I'll return to finish the story a third time eventually, but things are starting to pick up release-wise, so I have plenty of reviewing to keep me busy."
Wow.
What is it about marathoning stuff that's so
Rewarding?
Yeah, so awesome? Because in this, I just started watching Portlandia. Like, literally today I started watching it, and I had this moment of like, well, I could sit here and watch the rest of the first season that's available on Netflix without even, like, blinking an eye, you know? Because it's all right there. You just keep clicking next.
You're just sitting.
And I'm just sitting there. And it's like 8 episodes, 23 minutes apiece or something like that. It's about like watching a movie. But, so maybe it's not really marathoning it in that sense, but the way I marathon The Wire or any game. But the reason I bring Portlandia up is because there's a sequence in there early in the first episode where they're kind of... It's like a sketch show, and they're kind of parodying modern life with, like, what's the main guy's name?
Fred Armisen.
Fred Armisen. Yeah, thank you. And he's on his laptop, and he's texting, and he's updating something on his iPad, and he's got Netflix discs. He's like, "Oh, I gotta watch these and then send them back." And and he goes in. It's like a weird, you know, almost drug sequence where he's like quickly switching between these 5 different inputs back and forth and back and forth, and, like, you know, there's so many people talking about, you know, and making jokes about, like, modern society when people, they can't focus, and they, you know, people do shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like, when you're watching TV, you're not even watching TV. You're on your laptop and texting at the same time. Like, everybody does that.
Yeah.
But when I marathon something, I'm not doing that. I'm watching the show or just reading the book. I think it's because when you get really focused on something like that and it's that good, it's easy to kind of tune out that stuff, and it feels good to quit replying to text messages as soon as you get them.
Yeah.
And quit, you know, reading every email that your phone vibrates for. And Yeah. What do you think? Are you just tuning out?
I can marathon TV shows better than anything.
Even games?
Yeah,
Even like angry, like if it wasn't for work.
I wouldn't marathon games. I mean, games, you usually want to give, usually set aside more time for a game than you do for a show. You're like, okay, I'm going to play 3
sitting?
hours, yeah.
Okay.
You know, you're not going to just play half an hour if it's a Xbox.
Yeah, if it's a console major release,
RPG.
not Angry Birds or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it's harder to marathon games for me, just because, well, I don't know, though. I could play League of Legends all fucking day.
Yeah.
Like when something's really good, or like
absolutely.
Halo.
Yeah, when a game's got you hooked, that is by far the easiest thing to marathon.
Yeah.
Because
God, we played a shitload of League of Legends last summer.
And, you know, Mass Effect 3 is great, and I marathoned it when I was making this guide, and when I first started playing it, like, this was all I was doing. There was no watching The Wire or anything. It was every spare second I had for media consumption was playing this game.
Yeah.
Which, for me, is a lot of time because it's work and it's my spare time. So I'm spending a lot of fucking time playing this game.
Yeah.
But it hasn't kept going the way that like League of Legends or Halo used to, or Call of Duty used to, or I don't know, like a lot of games, get that marathon hook in me.
I would say,
and it still happens a lot for me.
The only single
sorry for interrupting. I thought I kind of grew out of that as I've gotten older, but I haven't. I've grown to appreciate and enjoy the marathon more.
Yeah.
Like really embrace it as like, yeah, sometimes this is the best way to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Because like in a competitive game, like Call of Duty, Halo, League of Legends, you're learning a lot. Yeah. Oh, and I edited out a bunch of like walking around and talking to people in this, so that explains the weird jump cuts. Like you're literally learning every game. You're trying out new things. You're looking on forums. You're watching videos. You're learning new tactics and trying new builds and all sorts of stuff. And it's a very iterative process. So you're actually making a lot of progress in terms of your player development when you do marathon. Mm-hmm. But when you put a game down and you come back to it after not playing it for
what are the controls
like
again?
a week, like even if you put it down for a week, you're kind of rusty. Like that first game that you come back is a warm-up game.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, yep, now I'm getting the timing down. Now I can lead that skill shot a little bit better. Now I remember my build again. And but when you just keep on fucking doing it, I think it's more than just my gamer tendency to be obsessive about things. I think it's really the better way to do it sometimes. But that doesn't really explain why I marathoned all 5 seasons of The Wire in like a week and a half.
Yeah. I don't know. What I was going to say...
All about single player. Yeah.
...is Skyrim is the only game that's put its hooks in me, single player wise, in a while.
Yeah.
If it's not multiplayer, it's hard for it to put hooks in me.
Now, do you think that's because of the RPG aspect of it, where you're constantly leveling up and you're always really close to the next big tier of upgrading your sneak skill or your archery or whatever?
Yeah.
Just that very that pellet thing you were talking about before, where you're constantly pressing the feed me the pellet, feed me the pellet, feed me the pellet.
Not only that, but there's the what's over here? Ooh, look at that bear.
The exploration.
Oh my god, there's a woolly mammoth.
And the constant distraction.
Yeah.
So
what's that guy doing?
Okay. That's an interesting tweak.
Where's that flame guy? Why is that flame guy just standing in the woods? I'm gonna go fight him.
That's a really interesting tweak on the marathon, because when I played it, I found a quest line and I did all of that quest line. And I've learned to kind of focus that distraction.
Yeah.
Focus away from just getting constantly distracted by every little Ooh, a blue car.
Yeah.
Just every random thing that goes flying by, and every minor side quest. But I don't know. Marathoning is definitely. I still enjoy it, and I'm glad I get the opportunity to do that, whether it's for games or anything. Still.
Yeah.